everybody? Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery, and boy, have I got a big one here. This one just arrived from our friends at Eaglemoss. This is the Paul McGann 1996 TV movie console from their Doctor Who collection. As you can see, this is a pretty good sized box. Could probably, take off my head and stuff it in here. In fact, let's try that. Or not. Let's just open the box. The console in question was used in exactly an hour and a half of Doctor Who's TV history. And yet this console has a huge influence on what came after. The Paul McGann TV movie was an attempt to revive the show. And trying to figure out the best way to do this. It was an attempt to revive the show, possibly for an American television network. And don't try this at home. If it comes out in pieces, then don't try this at home. Don't open it the same way. Oh, and we have the obligatory magazine. The lovely picture of the 8th Doctor on the cover. That will be a big selling point for some of you, I'm sure. The 96 movie was... there's a lot of talk about it being a backdoor pilot. I don't necessarily think by the time it aired that the Fox network or even Universal Studios still regarded it as a real contender in that category. The project had changed hands from a production standpoint several times. At one point, it was mooted to be an Amblin production, so that carried with it at least the vague impression that Steven Spielberg was involved. And I hope I can be heard over all these lovely styrofoamy sounds. So the producer who actually brought it to Amblin was a man named Philip David Segal, who was a lovely guy. He had worked on Sequest DSV, among other things, at Amblin. But he was a diehard Doctor Who fan, and so this was very much a passion project for him. So, actually going to use a screwdriver to break the tape here, holding two sections of styrofoam together. Good thing I have a screwdriver handy now. Now, of course, as you probably gathered from the artwork on the box, this is going to be quite a literal unveiling. As you gathered from the artwork on the box, this is not the whole console room. This is just the console. If you recall from watching that movie, then... oh, that's fantastic. That's just fantastic. Look at that. That is beautiful. Okay, so in case you're wondering whether I'm pleased with it or not, absolutely. Absolutely. Attached to its weighted base very solidly, you have kind of the antique furniture claw feet going on down here at the base of the console. You have all that lovely detail on the console itself. That is fantastic. Wow. Okay, so I'm very happy. We're done. Thanks for watching. No, and you have little details like the desk lamp on there, and the I believe that's a train brake. Now okay, the column itself, the rotor is at a slight angle on this model, which may or may not have happened during shipping. It's going to sit on a shelf, and that's not going to be a problem. I'm not going to ding points for that. This is just lovely. Now, I am going to do something with this that is probably not what Eaglemoss intended, which is it's going to be part of a display of the 5.5-inch character options action figures. To which this is not in scale. This is going to turn out to be tiny compared to those. But that's okay if you put it behind the figures instead of in front of them. You kind of get a forced perspective effect, and it's perfect for that. And I have a Paul McGann figure who will be more than happy to have his console. Now, what I was saying about this not being the full console room, if you remember, there is actually another cylinder in the set from that TV movie that clamps down over this part, and it has like 6 legs, which are girders that have cross sections you can see through, which the director of the movie actually shot through these girdered sections. And there's one for each corner, each vertex of the hexagon here, which the TARDIS console is traditionally a hexagon. So obviously you don't have all of that stuff, you just have the console. But this is lovely if you want to do those girders. If someone out there wants to 3D print that stuff and put it on Etsy, someone just let me know where it is, and I will be happy to complete the illusion. But for now, that is just amazing. Eaglemoss's TARDIS consoles are really the only Doctor Who items of theirs that I have invested in, because I'm so heavily loaded down with the action figures that I think getting into the Eaglemoss actual figurine collection, the characters that are scaled to this, that would be a rabbit hole I probably cannot afford to go down. But the console itself is wonderful. And the magazine, I expect, of course, it's going to have lots of photo documentation, not just of the model itself, but of the original prop. And it's worth noting, the original prop does still exist. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, I love this. I love this already. What every button does, basically. The original prop, and I can tell they have gotten some photos from the person I'm about to talk about. The original prop was ditched. It was used once in 1996, and then done. No series resulted from that movie, so really, once the sets were struck, there was no reason to keep any of it. But the console wound up somewhere, and it was rescued by a Doctor Who fan who restored it back to its full original glory, shored it up structurally so that it could actually be moved in sections to Doctor Who conventions for photo ops. And, it has indeed shown up at Gallifrey many a time. The convention that's usually in February in LA every year, not the planet. although it's probably shown up on that Gallifrey too, now that I think of it. But the original prop, has been rescued. If Paul brings it to a convention that you happen to be going to and has it set up for photo ops, you can get your picture taken with the original full-sized prop of this beauty. But for those of us on a budget who don't make it to LA every day, this is absolutely amazing and very wonderful. I have yet to get a Doctor Who console from the Eaglemoss collection that actually in some way disappoints. But this one just, even with the level of detail that I was expecting, this goes way above and beyond. And I am totally jazzed. Cannot recommend this one enough if you are a fan. And if you are a fan of this particular movie, this particular instance of Doctor Who history, definitely worth your while.